Heath, our audience knows that identity is the new perimeter, and they know that protecting identity is critical. You advise that organizations should have their Active Directory and their managed identity zone as two completely separate entities. Explain what you mean by that and why we're doing that.
Yeah, the managed identity zone is our terminology, and we do this for a lot of clients where we actually manage all critical consoles and all critical access to the environment through a certain procedure. So what you do is you remove any privileged accounts away from Active Directory. You move any critical consoles, say your EDR solution, whatever it is, down into a separate siloed managed identity zone with a completely different network architecture around it. That will eliminate probably 80% of ransomware and cybersecurity attacks when you can sit there and manage the ID from a certain perspective. The reason MFA doesn't work nowadays, most organizations do what they call self-enrollment. Self-enrollment means it allows the user to make a decision if they want to enroll in MFA. Well, guess what threat actors normally do? They end up enrolling themselves. So in a separate managed identity zone, you're forcing those credentials on administrators, and you really reduce the risk across the board for the organization.
What part is this playing different than Active Directory? I mean, isn't Active Directory just critical for Windows machines?
What you're doing is you're leaving normal Active Directory to just normal user interfaces.
You're not letting it play the part of it's your identity manager, is the idea.
That is correct. For critical consoles and for critical access, it is not going to be the managed AD. It's not going to manage that. You're going to move that into a separate zone.
And does your managed identity zone then have the ability to recover if Active Directory is compromised?
Well, you have to always back up Active Directory. The managed identity zone will have its own perspective, but there's some great solutions. AD should be backed up in multiple different ways. So you will back up your managed identity side of the house and your AD side of the house. What you're looking like is Entra ID might be one side and Okta might be the other solution. You're going to use two different solutions for AD and one for the managed identity zone.
What then are the verifications you're sort of asking of your audience for your managed identity zone?
We get all critical consoles, all administrator accounts. We force 15-character passwords across the board in the recommendations. We have two-factor authentication. That is not push notification. It is physically putting in a number on the other end with a solution that we believe in, that we do not see get bypassed by threat actors all the time. And if it's a new account or a verification or somebody's been locked out, we're having a conversation like we are right now. Mm-hmm. It's a visual conversation. They're going to show government ID on the camera, and they're going to verify some type of a piece of equipment they're with us, and we're also going to sit there and send a two-factor code to them that they have to physically enter.
In your early development, what were some pitfalls you saw and goes, oh, we need to patch this. This is a problem?
What we saw was threat actors always taking advantage of ID and then moving into backups and moving laterally through the board. So what we said was, if reduce 80% of a cyber attack surface, if you can truly manage the critical consoles and limit the damage that threat actors can take. The uniqueness is we bring the bodies into our clients' environments that are doing that for the client. The client actually does not do that. We're in charge of it. It is our SLAs, and we control the work path. So even if the client is compromised on the AD side of the house or their credentials, we had to be compromised on our side in order for the managed identity to be affected.
So is what you're offering also a managed service on top of this?
It's a managed identity zone.
Well, if you need some help and you don't want all the weight of identity be on your shoulders specifically, because that is a lot of stress, why not look at what some experts are doing over there at Fenix24? Manage Identity Zone. Check it out at this web address right there, Fenix24.